My name's Simon. I'm CEO and co-founder of Pimloc. So, we're not an advertising company. We're never going to monetize your data. We want to give you the latest tools to enjoy and manage your image and video collections without you having to relinquish control. Everybody's image collections are full of very dense and very descriptive private data. And most people, I assume most people in this room, don't really know what's in their image collections. Most people don't have the time nor the inclination to go through every image and watch every video. But as you've seen here over the last 2 days, the machine can now do that very quickly. And it's not a big step for these companies that you're providing your images into to start providing that data to insurers, potential employers, as well as harassing you with more annoying advertising. And actually, whoops, can I go back one? Yeah. And if, like me, you enjoy a occasional drink, that's probably something you're not necessarily going to want everybody to know. The other thing about personal image collections is actually they're a bit of a goldmine for someone that wants to hack in and get some of your private data. So one very quick search on my last 10 years worth of images, which is about 30,000 images for receipt. I got about 700 responses. I found pictures of 6 different people's passports, medical records, share certificates, bank cards, my Wi-Fi password, lots of things my wife would never want anyone to see. And I genuinely didn't know I had any of those things stored. You know, with the usage of smartphones for documenting and the fact these things then disappear quickly into cloud storage systems, actually there's a huge amount of data set in people's image collections that they just don't think about. So, we've created a solution. It's Google Photos in a private box. It sits at the edge of your network in your living room, not somebody else's. You bring it home, you can connect it to your local Wi-Fi network via the smartphone app. The box is going to find all your images and videos. It's going to index them, and then very quickly, from the comfort of your home, you can start to enjoy your past memories and your images and videos without having to give control of those away to anybody. The box ships with over 300,000 pre-trained classifiers, so you can find the people, the objects, the activities, the locations, and the scenes that you want to. But alongside that basic functionality, we've also built in some more advanced features for people with more specialist data sets, so keen hobbyists and people. So you can go in, you can create new classifiers, you can improve them. And we also have some new navigation tools for navigating much larger sections of images based on swiping and tapping on the content within them. So tap an image of my wife's face and we'll give you all the images of my wife. And actually, the edge-based processing and storage market is seeing a major resurgence at the moment. Analysts are predicting a 24% growth over the next 5 years. And we certainly think Pimloc's in a very good position to take a good slice of that. So we have projections to bring a range of products to market through direct sales, but also some white label licensing of our platform. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to launch our new box in August. We have 2 versions. We have a small memory version for people that already have adequate storage at home and a larger memory version for those that don't. You'll be pleased to know the platform already works. The electronics and the PCB is already done. We've had functional prototypes working for 6 months in a rail of trial areas. So all we need to do now is look for manufacturing partners for ramp up and pressing go on the tooling. We raised our seed round last October. We're currently starting to have conversations around looking for Series A to take us through ramp up and initial batch production. And we've got a very special and fantastic team. So we've got 2 of the leading academics from Oxford University on the AI side. We have Julian, who's set up and run actually 3 different computer vision companies in London over the last 30 years. We have James, who built the original Hawkeye ball tracking system and happens to be a bit of a genius. And then myself, who's got a range of experience from Nokia and the connected camera space recently. So thank you.
Okay. Who wants to go first, judges? Anybody?
I'm curious, how'd you come up with the pricing? Can you just give a rough outline of BOM costs and sort of go-to-market?
So I guess one of the biggest constraints to start with is we're using a low-end NVIDIA GPU for processing. We're very close to having our system running on a Raspberry Pi, which will take us into a very different market opportunity. As you look at the market spaces for who buys NAS drives and where the price points are, there's a very significant slice at the premium consumer, prosumer, and what I'd call small office, home office market space, where actually 399 is a good point to get into. So there is value in the premium space, and if you think about what we can take to market in the next 6 to 9 months, the BOM costs on our current product mean that actually that's a good place to go to.
Can you talk through your team's experience around manufacturing, distribution, supply chain, marketing, all the fun things that come along with having a tangible product to sell?
Yes, so my experience is 15 years at Nokia working through all those different areas. Myself and some of the team spent the last 4 years developing some wearable camera products where we took them from original design to second design through manufacturing in 3 different plants and into market. And most of my experience has been on the go-to-market marketing side. So it's certainly, as you see, an area we're going to have to build out as we start to see more pre-order sales come through. But certainly for now, we've got a good team to get us through the next stage, I think.
So when I look at your box, I see a honeypot of data that I just want to go hack. What are you doing to prevent all those nasty people who I think about every day actually getting into your system?
So we've developed some proprietary encryption ourselves to keep the images on the box secure. But we also acknowledge as a company of this size and not being our specialism, we've started to talk to 2 or 3 market leaders on, what is it they can help us put in place to make sure that they're secure in the home. And also people are now asking us for, well, I do want a private product, but also I want it to encrypt and back up to the cloud. And it's like, oh, that actually, that gives you a bit of a tricky option. So we're trying to work with some leading partners to be able to do that properly, because that is quite an important part. We certainly see a difference between privacy and security. And we have a very good privacy solution, and we're working on the security.
Can you flesh out who your customer is a little bit more? So who is this person?
So the first person is a slightly older, more affluent person with NAS drives already at home who has yet to move all their images into the cloud in the US or the UK. There are some markets where actually people have a real aversion to using cloud services, Germany, Spain, Middle East, etc. So geographically we have some good opportunities, but actually in the Western world there's also a decent segment we can go after to start with too.
And how much customer discovery have you done around that an older person would want to buy an additional hardware component and set that up?
We've done a fair bit of, just friends network kind of trials. So we've probably got about 20 people using the box so far. Lots of conversations all around the world and speaking to investors and people. So when we launch the product in August, I guess we'll find out.
We live in this pretty strange time where there's great benefits that we get from living much more public lives. And, Google Photos, for example, is amazing. Gmail is amazing. I think if Google wanted to know anything about me, they could. And on one hand, that's kind of scary, but it's also, on the other hand, sort of the reality of the world we live in. Do you think that there's really a big enough market of people who really care? Or do you have to convince people to be scared to buy your product? And the second question is, if there is that market, is there a way to do this without the hardware piece? Because it seems like a lot of friction for a customer to say, oh, I already have all my stuff in the cloud, or I don't want to have to worry about setting this thing up, or if my internet's going to work all the time, or if I can get my stuff from halfway around the world when I want to show somebody when I'm on vacation. It seems like, on top of that, obviously the expense and the complexity. So how do you think about that?
Cool. So I'd say the first market we're going to go after is people that have yet to migrate their collections to the cloud.
Is that the right customer, though?
To start with, I think that's a good place to start. I think there's going to be an inflection point happen. So far, people have been used to sharing discrete, curated bits of content with social networks and cloud providers. They've picked the item, they've shown it in a known way to a range of people. I think people are now only starting to understand the implications of, here's 20 years worth of data on my life. And actually, no one's really started to unravel that and understand, what implications it has for later on. So I think that will change, but I don't think we're there yet, is my point on that one.
Okay. We're all set. Thank you very much.
No worries.